Welcome to Dirty Laundry City with Isabella and Silvana.
An unironically relatable female millennial podcast where we talk about health, relationships, and being in our 30s.
Airing out your laundry has never been so dirty.
Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Dirty Laundry City for more. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Dirty Laundry City.
Welcome.
Welcome. I'm Sylvana.
I'm Isabella.
We're so happy that you're here. We're so excited. We are currently in a laundry room.
Hence the name.
An actual laundry room. It's insane. But this is what you get when you live in the New York City area and you need a studio. So,
if you're lucky enough.
Some
people don't have laundry at all.
Some people don't even have laundry.
And they go to their laundromat or wherever. Or sometimes, which I've seen on TikTok, people using a salad spinner to do their laundry.
That's not real.
That is real. You can do your delicates in a salad spinner.
I mean, I guess the delicates work, but what if you have a parka?
Pair of jeans.
Or even a pair of jeans.
And people wash their clothes in their sink. It's,
So we'll definitely be talking about the weird New York things, right? Because,
yes.
I mean, the majority of this country does not know that struggle at all.
No.
Carrying your laundry to a laundromat.
Is doing an Ironman.
Is doing an Ironman. That's a really good way of explaining it. Because how many times have you had to do it in inclement weather?
Inclement weather.
Inclement, yeah.
Oh, well, I do my laundry once a week, so yeah.
But you do that.
And I walk up and down 5 flights of stairs, so yeah, all the time. Yeah.
See, mine is just, so we're in a tiny back house right outside of New York City. And there's there's actual washing machine and dryer in here. And I mean, not lying, this is maybe 20 feet by, not even, maybe 15 feet by.
It's a little bit smaller than my studio apartment in Manhattan.
That's true.
For context.
She lives in a closet. I will say my house is a little bit larger, but you do have to walk outside to get into this space. But I have a washing machine and a dryer.
Yeah,
So I'm the rich in New York City at this point.
Richie Rich right here.
Richie Rich. Well, anyway, so we're Dirty Laundry City because we are in New York City and we are literally in the laundry room. So while you probably won't see us doing our laundry, we will be speaking about it.
We won't be doing any DIYs on how you should do your laundry.
No.
We're not here for that. This is not about which pods to be using.
No. Honestly, we're not even going to tell you what to do ever.
Yeah.
Because the majority of what we're going to talk about is what we've done and probably what you shouldn't do.
Experiences.
Less
of influencing and more of de-influencing.
De-influencing. That's a big word right now, actually.
So let's talk a little bit about who we are as humans.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Moved to the city during my senior year of college and shortly met Sylvana afterwards. And we decided to do a podcast together as our own internal therapy session.
Yes. In addition to therapy that I'm also doing, but yes.
But if you can't afford therapy, you should join us in call toll-free 1-800.
No, I mean, I think one of the reasons why we really wanted to start this is because for the most part in the research I've done and what I've seen on Instagram and TikTok, etc., these podcasts are so unrelatable to the point of, yes, it's entertainment. Don't get me wrong. They're so fun. I mean, I love hearing about celebrity drama and how they took a private jet to Maldives and are going on a Tarte brand trip, et cetera, et cetera. But it's either that or people are telling you what to do with your life and how to make your life better. And they're pushing all of these things, whether that's a new workout supplement or, I meditate 5 times a day to feel better. But I just feel like there's really a lack of one podcast where people aren't pushing things. We're not celebrities. We're not rich by any means. we
Not sponsored.
we are not sponsoring anything. And I think too, I mean, we're in our early 30s, millennial girlies, and we're not 25-year-olds going out and getting drunk every single maybe ever, but every single weekend. We're not going to sit here and talk about how we went home with a guy and how it was the craziest story in the world because he ended up like having a roommate who he also hooks up with. You know, like,
right. We will be talking about the numerous amounts of first dates that I have been on.
Of course.
That total and a very specific number. But we will not be out here getting ready at 11 p.m. at night and doing a pregame.
No. We're going to be complaining about the amount of times we're going on bachelorette trips where we actually have to drink one evening.
And I don't drink, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Now I don't drink, which we'll talk about later.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, so I think we can... What are we going to be talking about, right? Like the topics that we're going to be covering. Anything related to 30s women, millennials, I would say, right? So that's what did we say that like our big topics are?
Our big topics are definitely relationships, whether that's your relationship with your partner, your friends, your family, your parents, your coworkers, whomever. We also want to dive into the conversation of mental health and how millennials are really kind of responsive to mental health and are probably the first generation of people to have been either involved in therapy or actively seeking out different ways to help their anxiety or depression or whatever it is. I think we also want to talk about living in New York and what that means, as especially for two people who maybe don't have the same goals as a lot of other young 30-year-old women throughout in the country.
It's just diving into a lot of like what comes with being 30 as a woman and the pressures of that. And honestly, I know how it feels to feel, I guess, to a certain way, like isolated in the things that I believe and the things that I want to do with my life. And I know that when I find someone who feels the same way, it makes me so happy, and it makes me just feel like I am part of this community that sometimes you forget is there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, everyone wants to feel a part of something or feel like they are heard. And I do think New York is kind of the exception to the rule, where there are so many different types of people of different backgrounds, different ethnicities, lifestyles. So this is truly an judgment-free zone.
Yeah. I mean, we're airing out the dirty laundry.
We are here to spill the dirty laundry.
Yeah. And we will touch on maybe things that are uncomfortable. I mean, I don't think everyone feels comfortable talking about things, but I mean, I'm an open book. I sometimes get a little bit too intense and deep about things. So
I've been told TMI.
Yeah.
A lot, specifically by my mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Bella's mom tends to give it to her straight, which then you give everyone
and I probably
straight,
give over a little too much information, but when you first meet me, I'm trying to figure out everyone's dirty little secrets. We want to know what's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah. Because it's not all surface level.
Right.
So boring, surface level. No one cares about that stuff.
Yeah.
So I also feel like another big part of why we're doing all this is because for years, I mean, we've known each other for how long?
10 years.
10 years. Crazy. We met on a double date, a double girl date, by the way. I always thought Bella should have a podcast. All of the girls, our entire girl group, we have the girl group here in this area of all kind of around our same age. Some are a little bit younger, but every single person that's ever met you is like, she would be hilarious. You just have the driest sense of humor. You say it straight like it is. Sometimes a little too straight.
Maybe, yeah.
A little bit, but that's okay. I mean, it's going to be fun to talk through it like this. But anyways, we always thought that you needed your own platform so the world
And you're
could
the
see.
perfect partner in crime for
Thank
it.
you. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I definitely think we're a good match for this. Like we've said, we've been friends for almost 10 years. And your friends post college or post high school are really hard to make in general. So I think it does say something that we met after school and that we're still friends 10 years later.
Yes. No, that's so true. Okay, so moving on. 3 things that we love
About each other.
No, let's do it about ourselves first.
Oh, 3 things that we love.
Yes.
Period.
That we love, period. Like our favorite things.
Yes.
And
These
then
are a
we'll
few of
move
my
on to
favorite things.
how we would describe each other. I think that's really important.
Yes. Okay.
So, okay, you go first.
My 3 favorite things.
3 favorite things.
Okay.
Yeah. Just for them to understand who we are.
Who I am as a person.
Yes.
So one of the things that I tend to prioritize or over prioritize is sleep. I can sleep like a 16-year-old boy, meaning I can sleep until 11, 12 on any given day. I have had this weird inclination that I must or rule set for me that I must have at least 8 hours of sleep.
Okay.
And now that is what normal adults say, but I was saying this at 14. It is a bit unusual for a young person to really say, in order for me to function, I need at least 8 hours of sleep.
And just from like an outside perspective looking in here, I would say this is your number one most prioritized thing in your entire life. Outside of like your family.
Yeah,
I
like
would say.
outside of relationships and maybe food. And
but
just,
you are going to sleep over hanging out.
I am, yes. I'm taking that nap.
Yes.
If there's an opportunity for a nap, I will take it.
Yes.
For me to feel like I've had rest is for me to be actually asleep. And like a lot of people can do constructive rest where they're just chilling
Yep.
and hanging out. No, I need to be fully unconscious.
Yeah. Yep. Out. Just not with the world.
Love it.
Yeah. Number 2.
Number 2. So I do have an affinity for pop culture.
You do. We'll be discussing, I'm sure.
In which we'll kind of dive into. But I really enjoy kind of researching celebrities and that and more so like actors and actresses, like finding out what different movies or shows that they've been in. So I do have the IMDb app on my phone. Everyone should have it. There's always kind of a competitiveness in my family to say who was in that movie, what year did it come out, was it nominated for anything. So kind of like a 6 degrees of separation game that's just constantly played.
Okay.
So if I'll make obscure references, I'm sure, throughout the podcast.
Yeah, you always talk about people that I don't really know. Okay, also, too, I have to mention, you're obsessed with old people, like older generation people.
Yeah.
So, like, your favorite celebrities...
Meryl Streep.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like a veteran person, a very older...
Old soul.
I have an old soul, for sure.
Number 3.
Number 3, which is going to sound... I mean, I really enjoy having a lot of different friends. I haven't had just one group of friends. Like, all my friends are from different periods of my life.
Yes. Okay.
And so I really value that. I don't know if this is a favorite thing, but I have
us insight into who you are. I think it's important.
I have friends from childhood, high school, college, post-college, and I really value friendships and loyalty.
Question about that, because I feel the same, and I've always had... I know I mentioned before we have a group of friends here, but I've never growing up had one really large group of friends that we did everything with each other.
Yeah.
It was very sporadically kind of different friend groups. And honestly, there was a period of my time where I felt really left out because I would see other people who'd have these large groups of people that all loved each other and hung out and did all these things. And I never really had that.
Yeah. There's a sense of clickiness that comes with that, though, and that you're only exclusively friends with those people. And oftentimes I've found that they didn't want you to be friends with other people. You had to roll deep with us Monday through Friday at school and then on the weekends as well, which wasn't really my jam. My best friend is almost 3 years younger than me. So we had our own kind of separate lives, but we also had friends together. And so more like a sister relationship. But I also felt that thing you wanted, like from the movies, you wanted like that pack of friends. And
That's a good way to say it.
But it's boring. I'm sorry, it's boring.
Because probably at the end of the day, they're all basically the same people. And you want to have different types.
You want to talk about other things?
Yeah.
Like with other people's opinions. It's I think most people want that secure kind of group because they're insecure.
Yeah.
That's my take.
I can understand that. Okay.
Those are my 3 favorite things.
Okay.
What are your 3 favorite things?
Okay. So, gosh, when you really have to like boil it down to 3, it can be a little tough.
It is.
Okay, I will say, and this is what I'm really excited to talk about on the podcast, especially with you, because we lead such different lives in terms of relationships, like romantically. And I love hearing about people's really intimate relationships. And I always say that if I was not in the profession and field that I'm in right now, I would 100% be a relationship therapist or a psychiatrist. I think it's so interesting to hear what people go through, how it evolves when you get older, when you mature, but then how your childhood and the way you see your parents and their relationships.
Yeah, I think that's interesting too.
Really transform you into who you are. And I've been doing a lot of like introspection and talking with my therapist about kind of the issues I have in my relationship, which I am currently in one, a long-term one for about 9 years. So that's going to be really fun to kind of dive into.
I am eternally single.
She is eternally single. Again, yin yang here. But that's definitely one of my favorite things. Just with my friends, even anyone in my own relationship, I just love talking and being able to be open with one another. So I'd say that's number 1. Number 2, what do I love? What's the things that I'm really into? Oh gosh, my heart. You don't even want me to start talking about
I know, I'm skeptical, but
I have to dedicate an episode to this. I have to. I'm sorry. Like, you might not want to join it. It's just going to be me, and I'm going to wear my sweatshirt.
I thought you were going to wear a costume because it does get a little borderline. Dungeons and Dragons. It's kind of.
Yeah. You're right. It's not cosplay.
Renaissance fair. Cosplay is the correct. I'm sorry. I'm throwing out the stereotypes.
It's not giving Renaissance fair.
It's not
giving Renaissance fair. I mean, to all those who like that, no judgment. You do you, boo. But I'm really into reading. I just recently got back into it. I was a really big reader when I was young, like Harry Potter books, all of that. Young. I mean,
and
like
were
11.
you a big reader because you're an only child, do you think? I mean, you can be a big reader and have siblings, but did you maybe also have the reason why you liked specifically books like that are more fantasy based because you didn't have a sibling?
Good question. I would say yes. I mean, I grew up with really, really close family friends, but they weren't there all the time. So, of course, I was alone. So, yeah, I would say so. I mean, I just always really enjoyed it. I was always like a quick reader. I never found reading to be difficult. I loved being transported into all these different worlds. I had like a huge obsession with Lord of the Rings for years. I just always was so amazed that people can create these entirely other different worlds. The world building is what I just love the most, other than the relationships, of course.
Right.
So just within the past, I would say year or two. And I think it's also helped me a lot with my anxiety in the sense of it is a true way to escape.
from reality. And my true way to escape from reality is sleep. That is my escape from reality. So I understand that.
Okay. Yeah. We all need one. We all need one. Mine just has come about in the form of books.
Right.
And specifically romantasy. So anything Sarah J. Maas, anything Fourth Wing, any of that. I mean, anyone wants to be my Goodreads friend, please add me. I definitely will talk about it. But the phenomenon lately has been so crazy. I mean, I'm on Book Talk and everything, and it's genuinely so fun to read. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying it's the greatest literature of all time, but it's so incredible and impressive what these authors are able to do, and they're women. And I think that in itself is like beautiful, because films and TV shows and stuff, like, we're just starting to really realize that a lot of these talented like producers, directors, writers are women, but it's still so, I think, small in comparison to what men have done. And all of these authors are women. In Fourth Wing specifically, like, they talk about sometimes like women being a little bit struggling, I guess, in terms of maybe like physical limitations or mental limitations, and how they're able to overcome that. Anyways, so I could talk about this for 10 hours, obviously, but that is definitely my number 2 favorite for sure. Number 3.
What's number 3?
What is number 3?
The lead up.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you think of your third thing?
I feel like I don't really know, but I'm going to say one thing because it's going to be coming up in our podcast later. I love French bulldogs, and I'm getting one. So I will have a son. My son will be coming into this world.
Will be birthed soon.
Will be birthed next month. So my birthday month.
So
he will have the same birthday as me. I just realized.
The exact same birthday?
Well, I hope. I don't know.
He will be a Pisces.
He will be a Pisces or an Aquarius.
Nope.
No.
The last day of Pisces is March something.
Yeah, but he could be an Aquarius.
Oh, early February,
early
though.
February,
Okay,
yeah. I'm like an Aquarius Pisces, so, and I identify a lot with Aquarius. So if he's born before me in February, he could be an Aquarius. But anyways, he will be on this podcast. He'll be sitting right here, and so expect him in a couple of months. And I'm so excited. I was really scared of the responsibility of a dog, and I think this goes back to a lot of what we're going to talk about with like my fear of commitment, which
is so funny because you've always been in a relationship.
I have equal fear commitment and equal fear
non-commitment.
People leaving me,
right?
Being alone. I hate being alone.
I love it. I like to be alone. I don't like to be alone for too long because then I go a little cuckoo bananas. But I do appreciate being alone.
Yeah. Well, I don't. So if I have a dog, I'm never going to be alone, which actually is probably sounds the best ever. So I'm very scared of the responsibility, but I'm so excited. He's going to be the cutest thing in the world. He's going to be a little cream French bulldog. People are going to come at me. I already know it. I've already had the comments of, why don't you adopt? Why don't you save a dog? I'm all for saving a dog. I would love to save every single dog out there. I would love to never see any person or animal suffering, believe me. But this is my first child, okay? And we all know that when you have a first child, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to mess that child up. Allow me to mess him up from when he is a small puppy, okay? Please.
I have heard that people who have anxiety or have anxious behavior, when they do have children, or I guess a dog in this case, that their anxiety goes away because they have something else to focus on.
Yeah. I have someone who told me that he had said that he's really anxious person, had panic attacks. The minute he had kids, he stopped worrying about himself and only worried about his kids, which I guess could induce anxiety, but it's different.
Yeah, would 100% induce anxiety in me.
But that's true. I mean, I've heard a lot of really anxious women got pregnant and all of a sudden weren't anxious anymore.
Right.
Maybe like the hormones or whatever it is. But I mean, I really hope that this dog helps with that, because
I think it will.
I'm just so excited, and it's going to be a learning process. So I'm pumped.
Your child.
My child.
We're excited.
My one and only, probably ever. So
You never say never.
Other than the 24 that I have frozen somewhere in Albany.
She's got those eggs sitting on ice, so if anybody...
People love to say your children, like referring to those, and I always forget. I'm like, what? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I have 24 of my children.
Well,
sitting
they're
somewhere.
not fertilized.
They're not.
So,
But they could be.
but they could be, but
They could be.
also they're not children.
Okay, so what can people expect? What's upcoming in this podcast? Like, obviously, they're going to see a dog in the next couple of weeks.
They're gonna see us.
They're going to see us. They're going to see Bella's multiple pink outfits.
I should have said that as one of my top 3 favorite things.
Pink.
Yep. They're gonna see us hopefully in different settings. So whether we're interviewing one of our friends, doing their laundry, or where they do their laundry. So that is more to come. We definitely want to spruce the place up a little bit.
Yes.
We know
this is a bit of a bear.
Minimalistic zen right
It's
now.
giving hid. What is that?
Hig.
Hig.
The Danish. I think it's
giving
Danish.
Hidge.
I think people know what we mean, right?
So
once those sponsors start to roll in, yeah, everyone's gonna want to sponsor us.
every single person. I think too. I mean, the way we're going to approach it, which I think is probably the best, is each podcast or each episode of the podcast will be the topic, right?
Right.
So like our next topic, we're not really sure yet, but it might be like the mental health aspect, and the next one physical health, and the next one relationships, the next one New York City, whatever. So I think that it's important to dedicate each to something that not only we understand, but then also things that like affect us every single day.
Right.
That we think about constantly on repeat, never ending. Oh my God, the world's going to end if
Hamster
we
wheel.
stop thinking about it.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I'm so excited about this because one, we've been talking about it for a while.
Right.
Two, I think, again, one of the other parts of why we're starting this is because when you get to this age, so much of what people are spending their time on and looking forward to is the next step in typically your relationship or in your life, which would be marriage, potentially.
Weddings, kids,
buying a house.
stuff like that. Those big
moments, milestones, one would say, of your life. And we're not doing any of that.
We're not.
We're not. And that's okay. And I think that a lot of this conversation we're going to have is going to hopefully show people that that is okay, because I feel like sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
But
and it's okay also if you are doing those things.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, look, to each their own at the end of the day, no matter what. But a reason why I think we want to start this is because we don't have those milestones right now. We don't have those big parts of our life that we're focusing this energy on. And so we work every day. Of course, we both have full-time jobs. We have friends and family that we dedicate a lot of our time to and of course prioritize, but we don't have that other thing that's like a passion for us, maybe.
Sure, a
hobby or
people who work full time. I don't know how you have like hobbies.
It's hard.
Like you can't say your hobby. I guess you could say it is reading, but like everybody reads or tries to read, or like people play sports.
Yeah, I mean working out, of
working
course,
out, but
I don't ever see working out as a hobby.
No, that's just like
I will forever. It's a chore. I'm sorry.
chore.
Yes, I love to work out, and it really helps me mentally. I 100% believe that it is so good for you. It is necessary. I really truly enjoy it on a true like serious level, but it is not a hobby for me.
No.
I'm doing it because I
have to.
Without
it, my mental health would be worse.
Right. So we do it honestly to stay alive.
Out of pure necessity. And it is a chore. It is on the to-do list.
Yes.
It's not something that I'm super passionate about.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of like there.
Right.
Maybe not a lot of love. But that's okay. I mean, if you love it,
good
more
for you.
Freaking power to you, because that's great. But I think for this too, the process of setting this all up and getting this started was also really tough.
Yeah.
And I think that's also like we needed a challenge. We needed to learn some things. I mean, I learned a lot. I think we're going to learn a lot going forward. I think this is going to evolve and improve as we go on. So I think it's really interesting also to show people all of these podcasts or tell people all of these podcasts that people are doing out there is a lot of time, a lot of energy, dedication, and all those celebrities out there that have these amazing looking podcasts or people who have thousands or millions of subscribers and all of that. There's a lot of money that was put into that.
Yeah.
And also people who are professionals that are helping them.
Yeah.
And people forget that. I forget that because I'm like looking at our videos playing back and I'm like, okay, this is like cool. We did a decent job, but this is by no means professional, right? I mean, we all know that.
This is super professional.
All right. Well, I feel like we covered it.
We covered a lot of ground.
We covered some things. I mean, we're going to cover so much more. We'll get into that groove.
Catch us wherever you get your podcasts and like and subscribe to our channel.
See you next time in the laundry room.